What up? This is a clip from our big NCAA basketball show. Let's get paid in full. Let's eat. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching odds.com. Let's have a big weekend. p.m. Eastern. And this is going to be a fun one. Army at Navy. Navy opening up as 4-point favorites. One book has moved it to 4.5. This total opened up at 132. It's already shot up to 134.5. It's best that we start in the Patriot League. Max is coming off his worst day of the year, and he's the governor of the Patriot League. Let's get to work. We're in Alumni Hall. Yes, Max?
I have to tell you something.
Sure.
Being the Patriot League governor brings me great pride, and being able to start this show off with you leading me into it brings me great pride. So I just wanted to share that with you before we get into the games.
I have enormous belief in you. And even though you're coming off a loss of 7 units, you're still having an excellent season. Let's remember that. 131 wins, 109 losses, 54.6%, plus 12.21 units, ROI plus 5.09%, average line minus 109. So one bad day does not a season make. Your overall record is spectacular, and you're the governor of the Patriot League. Let's go to Alumni Hall in Annapolis, Maryland. Army Black Knights 8-3, 4-2 in the Patriot. Navy Midshipmen 9-1, a perfect 6-0 in conference play. Army's won 2 straight and 4-5. They're coming off a 2-game sweep at Boston University last week, winning both games by double digits. Army has 3 players averaging double digits. Senior guard Lonnie Grayson averaging 12.8 points, 4.6 boards, and he hits 94.7% from the foul line. We know how Max loves those kind of players. Junior guard Josh Caldwell averages 12.1 points, 5.2 boards. 6'8 senior Alex King averages 11.8 points, 3.8 boards. Army scores 73.9 points per game. They get nice distribution with 16.5 assists per game. They hit 47.3% from the field, 34.5% from 3, but just 58.4% from the foul line. Lonnie Grayson hits 94.7% from the foul line. What is the rest of this team doing on the stripe? Navy's won 8 straight. They're coming off sweeping American at home last Saturday and Sunday. They won the first 87-86 in overtime before comfortably winning the second 71-59, led by senior guard Cam Davis, whom we've talked about quite a bit on this show, averaging 18.6 points per game. The only other player averaging double digits, John Carter Jr., 11.9 points, 4.5 rebounds. Their shooting percentages are slightly worse than Army's, except at the foul line, where they're much, much better, hitting at 72.7%. Max, well, smart. The governor of the Patriot League. We start with Army-Navy.
Listen, Jim, Army, they've definitely played some challenging competition so far this year, to an extent a little more challenging, in my opinion, than Navy. With Army, we've seen them beat Buffalo, beat LaSalle, lead Florida for the first half and a little bit of the second before they succumbed to a comeback. But this is a Army team that is always very into the game. They don't give up. They play from behind. They can play with the lead. And I think that with this Army team, what I've gotten accustomed to, at least this season, is when they win, their games go over, and their games are usually lined in the 140s. Going up against arch rival Navy, we know that these games are very highly contentious and usually see close to about that. So seeing this line open at 132, I got it at 133, thought that it was a great number on the over, because even though Army does have trouble at the free throw line, this is not necessarily a place that they do the bulk of their scoring. This is a very good, high percentage, close proximity, driving type team, and I've seen it with my own eyes. I like what I see out of this Army team. I think that going to BU and beating them twice definitely was great, but there's been a lot of issues with BU, so I do put a little bit of an asterisk beside that win when I mark it down. But the win against Colgate after the thrashing they took the day before, that was definitely impressive. I think that with Army, what you need to do is You need to do a better job on the offensive glass and balance your offense a little better. It's really cut and dry what you get from this team. If they're hot and they're hitting from the three-point line, then you're going to see them be able to stay in games, have leads. And in this instance, I think that it's a very possible scenario. I think that with Army, like you said, Jim, the only person that can hit a free throw on this team consistently is Lonnie Grayson. And if it comes down to that, and Navy has to come from behind like they've been accustomed and capable of doing so far in conference, I just think that Army may be able to get out to an early lead in this game, but Navy in the end, they may be the ones that come back. Because let's take into consideration the last game that Navy played, where both John Carter and Cam Davis had very poor games, and they were picked up by the offensive explosion from Greg Summers and Tyler Nelson. So this team has not only shown an ability to persevere when they get down, they don't give up. They have players that can step up and lead the way to a win and cover, even if their two best players are not on their game. It just gives me a lot of room to have faith in this Navy team. I think that Navy -4 is a good number. At 134.5, I do like the over. I'll add that reluctantly. But this is a game where I think Navy doesn't have to worry about the size of Matt Wilson like they had in past years. They don't have to deal with the scoring prowess and the lead guard qualities of Tommy Funk anymore. I think that while Lonnie Grayson has been pretty respectable from all over the arc, he definitely is going to have a tough matchup going against Cam Davis. And it's going to really come down to what complementary pieces can step up into that role that Nelson and Summers played in their last game. I think in the end, Navy and Army have both done great for your bankroll, and it's a tough decision to pick which one. I think that it's Navy's time to get a little bit of retribution. I think that the less possessions, the better for this team, but we know that with Army, they're never out of it, so you're going to have to consistently put up points. I think that the quality of defense that Navy brings on the perimeter is definitely a distinguishing factor between the two. And the fact that you're supporting Cask and Carry You goes a long way in the end. When you hit 73% of your free throws and make 16 of them on average every game, you're scoring with the clock stop, which is good for an over, and you're scoring in situations that are definitely putting your opponent on their heels. I think that Navy is 4-0 in the 3-7 favorite point margin. And while they have beat some less stout opponents, they did beat Georgetown. So they do get a little bit of respect from me there. I think Navy's the spot here at -4, and I think that I'd still take the over even at 134.5.
Well, let me start with the good news. I can get you -3.5 at -110 available at Circus Sports.
Okay, sounds good.
Now we get to the worst news. I can't get you better than 134.5. It's across the board. There's no book giving us a break at this point.
That is perfectly understandable. It is something that we're going to encounter many more times in the future, and it will suck if I win and the show pick loses, but that's just the name of the game.
Well, you've handled that very well throughout the year. So 134.5 at -110. Max is on the over 134.5 at -110. That is available at FanDuel, but that is available market wide. There we go. Army, Navy. The governor has spoken.